Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Nekomonogatari Shiro episode 4. This is a pretty long arc. We had this episode and another one after this. So how many episodes of Hanakawa in a row has this been? I guess 9, right? So it sounds good to me, honestly. I've been loving it. I really think I don't want to say Hanakawa is like my favorite character, because that's a very tough thing to say with this show. But certainly with how much we've gotten of her lately, I have to say she feels like the most like developed and interesting character to me in a lot of ways. So I feel like if anything, I'm going to be kind of sad when we're done with the Hanakawa marathon. But that is how it is. We gotta move on to other characters eventually. Last time we had some good further conversations between Hanakawa and Shinjogahara. Black Hanakawa and Shinobu had that talk. The school is burned down, which is like, I don't even. That still just like depresses me. Like, I don't know. Just thinking about that we're really never gonna go to the cram school again. Like, man, that it just feels like we've been ushered into a new era of the story with the cram school not existing. So, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we are watching Tsubasa Tiger Part 4. We are gonna see what Hanakawa is up to in the Araragi household, I suppose. She has yet another house to explore. She is probably gonna not feel good about her own household situation seeing this one, but that's maybe a good thing. So we are watching part 4 of Tsubasa Tiger. You can line you and copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, true, right? Oh, okay. I guess a whole bunch of stuff happened. Hmm. Like what? The chapter numbers are canon. She can see them. Oh, yeah. I guess she can tell. Thank you for that. Okay. Hmm. Okay. True. Sure. Sure. Into the metal cat, huh? Hmm. It is very interesting. Hanakawa and the way she views Black Hanakawa. I guess it makes sense, right? Like, in the last episode, we had the moment with Senjo Gahara, like not, kind of teasing Hanakawa about the fact that Black Hanakawa is still around, and Hanakawa, like, not understanding that or something, I guess, right? But, like, that makes sense, right? Like, and it makes sense that she externalizes Black Hanakawa so much and, like, calls it the Metal Cat and thinks that it really is this entirely separate thing from her? Like, the idea that Black Hanakawa and what she represents could ever be like gone or banished from Hanakawa just doesn't even make sense, right? But I guess of course Hanakawa would think of it that way. Hmm. I'm trying to think if. Hmm. I wonder if Araragi's going to show up in this arc or not? I feel like he kind of needs to, because I think we have some important things between Hanakawa and Araragi that need to, like, go down? So. Not really between them, just Hanakawa and her feelings about Araragi need to be, like, they need to be dealt with, I think. I think that's kind of a key part of her issue here. Oh, yeah, the ears from last time, right? But it seems like Aragi is just on this crazy adventure doing who knows what, so. Hmm. Maybe. That is an interesting thing to think about how, like, it's possible her mental state is affecting why Black Hanakawa isn't, like, a permanent change this time? Hmm. How long has it been since she's had someone like that say that to her, you know? Okay, well, they wake him up a little bit differently than that. So, still, I think she would enjoy that even if they did that to her. She's being assaulted by a crowbar. Yeah. Oh, we're seeing her. Yeah. Itakimasu. It's not your house. Yeah. Oh, man. But you aren't part of the family, and you can't be. Partly. Hmm. Shut up. Like, no, yes, they are. You can't. Yeah, what do you mean a falling out between you and your parents? Hmm. Oh, as a mother. Yeah, as a mother. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Oh, man. I can't believe we got to see Aragi's mother. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Hmm. Oh? Uh, episode? Oh, okay. What? Okay. Hi. What's up, man? How's it going? Okay. I didn't think we would ever see them again, to be honest. Yeah, true. You are. Okay. Um, okay. Are we like, I, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, okay. I was gonna say she's being very formal and, I'd be a little bit scared of this guy, personally. Was he just like their age? I guess that makes sense. Oh, okay. He's 12. Oh, he's 6. Oh, of course. Yeah, obviously. That makes sense. Of course. Okay. Episode is 6 years old. All right, sure. Worries me and I assume Hanakawa about whatever Aragi is up to if episode is back, right? Oh, okay. What, like he's a mercenary? Okay. I did not think we were going to be hearing those names again. Man. Oh, yeah, literally. A mercenary, yeah. Hmm. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. That is, I would not want someone to kill the tiger, frankly. Like, I get, like, you know what I mean? Just like the way I wouldn't want Black Hanakawa to be expelled from her permanently. I don't think that's a good idea. Ooh. Interesting. A dreadful feeling. Oh, okay. Right. Because that was before, like, Black Hanakawa. That was before, yeah. And maybe even the tiger, right? Upperclassmen to what? Okay, who? What? Huh? Okay, another character. Is this the last member of the shogi club that they didn't tell us in Nisei? Okay, who are you? Ooh, I like the fit. So I'm guessing she's a specialist, right? Obviously. Oh wow, on a first name basis with him, huh? Guyan Izuko. Okay, so some weird shit is going on with Kombaru and her the Guyan stuff, right? Because there's that weird line in the last episode about Guyan's ancestors or whatever. Okay. Oh, okay. Yatsuki is here too. He doesn't. Oh yeah. Well, of course he doesn't know. Why would he? He's not like a specialist like them. He's just a vampire hunter. So I guess he's kind of a specialist, but you know what I mean. He's not part of the group. Kaiki. Yeah. Yeah. She was part of their group, huh? Hmm. She's kind of condescending, isn't she? Oh, okay. Man, she is quite the specialist, huh? Sure, if you say so. Is it that obvious? Oh, okay. There's nothing she doesn't know. She knows everything, as if she had total control over the story. Okay, I guess she knows everything. Sure. True. Sure, I agree. Right, right. Oh, she really does know everything, huh? Man, she is ominous. She is scary. Hmm. Uh, sure, if you say so. Hmm. Like she's treating Hanakawa with this very condescending attitude, but at the same time, the things she's saying, I feel like are actually good for her to hear. So everything, yeah. Okay, the idea of a character that knows everything—that is very interesting. Oh, the rainbow thing in the background. It's like it's diverging on her head. You see the clouds, or converging on her head. Sorry. Right, literally. Hmm. Does she? Hmm. Well, sure. Black Hanakawa knew. Okay, that was a crazy scene. What was that? Guy and Izuko. What's the relation between her and Kanbaru exactly? Yeah, the me that isn't me. But that is you, so. Oh, the music. I love it so much. Hmm. Yeah, it's a new aberration. Unparalleled in history, as she said, right? There's a new book on the tiger. Oh, no. Yeah, new variety. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so she's gonna start putting it together, right? She's gonna understand that it's part of her, right? I didn't get that line. I am not familiar with that phrase. Some kind of play on words there or something. Something with Tora, right? Tiger. I don't know. A good question, I guess. Kinda the idea of knowing everything and cuting the future, kinda. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So like what and obviously like if it's true that Aragi needed Kombaru because of some relation to the Gaian family, then what is going on? you know? Mm-hmm. Okay, I like Tora is like in the, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it really, but I can hear audibly that there is a pun there. I yeah, I would say so. Tell her that the crim school burned down. Sure, right? It's scary. Mm-hmm. I imagine it's like places that she thinks of as her home. Maybe the Aragi household is safe now because of that talk that she had with Aragi's mother, though. Yeah. Well, sure, kinda. Oh, okay. Or just literally the places that she slept. I mean, it could be that bad, I guess. I thought it would be more so like places that she thought of as home. Hmm. Yeah, that's really we got a strict timeline now. Hmm. The stuff that Sindrigahara said. Notice how she was like much more careful with her words there. She didn't, you know, made sure to make it clear that she is a guest in the household. She's busy. She got stuff to do. Oh, okay. Oh God. Hmm. What are we talking about? Okay. Like an emotion to relate to it? Sure. Passion. I guess there's a lot of emotions you can imagine as being hot or like fire. Yeah, like justice, passion, love, even. I guess then you could do like hatred, like more negative emotions too, right? Mm-hmm. Someone mentioned that in one of my comments before. Yeah, sure. And that does apply to Hanakawa in some way, right? Sure, yeah, that is true. Mm-hmm. Don't be too specific. Oh God, be careful. Okay, I guess since they said it was around May, she could be thinking that he was talking about Senjigahara. Yeah. Okay, like, come on. Thank you. I remember. True. I can imagine Hanakawa having some anger about her situation for sure. I feel like it has to be a combination of a bunch of things, right? Not just one specific feeling. Just like Black Hanakawa, right? Yeah, like passionate feelings in general, right? Like, sure. Because I think Hanakawa would resist passionate feelings like that very extremely, like the way the tiger is burning stuff down, you know? Yeah, they were boyfriends. Yeah, Rizukazawa. I was gonna say, what was her boyfriend's name again? Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Great. Well, of course, that would be way too far. He can't imagine that. Wish we'd gotten to see that. Yeah, sure. Jealous? Yeah, right. Okay. Bringing jealousy back up. Sure. Yeah, like how you've been jealous of other people being able to change. You brought that up specifically. Hmm. Yeah, sure. Envy. Yeah. Not even just jealousy, but envy. I feel like that has a stronger connotation to it. Hmm. It's a very interesting feeling to have, isn't it? To be jealous of other people about something that you so strongly feel that you shouldn't be feeling in the first place. Hmm. Yeah, you were being very. Yeah, but it's how you always are. It just goes further to show that the way she acts is just so. Ooh, I might not be able to see Aragi again. Huh. Hmm. I mean, does her plan literally involve her death in some way? Or is she saying, like, yeah, I guess I can imagine so many things about why she thinks she'll never see Aragi again, I guess. Some of them are bad. What are you doing? Gotta send that to Aragi? Sure. What is his reaction to that gonna be? Okay, sure. Oh, oh man, we had a special ending too. Ah, man, that was powerful at the end there, huh? Oh God, that was a good episode. Okay, She might never be able to see Araragi again. I can imagine like 3 different things that could mean, you know? Ah, reaching out to Black Hanakawa, finally. Oh, God, it feels so good. For her to be in a situation where she has to do this, to finally acknowledge what Black Hanakawa is and what she represents, you know? Like, thank God Araragi isn't here. Huh? San Francisco. Sure. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Hit me. Hey, what? That is not. That is not a very good abbreviation. Sure. Ah. Okay. That was a good episode. We will talk about it in the discussion. All right, let's talk about the episode. So, God, I don't even know. We got a whole bunch of stuff. All this stuff with Guy and Izuko. I don't know. Like, I don't know what this is all about, but we'll talk about it when we get to it. So we skipped a bunch of chapters at the start here, which again, I guess like the chapter numbers are canon. I don't know. But I guess I don't like. I assume the implication there then is that Black Hanakawa did a bunch of stuff last night, other than just going to the school, right? Like, I would imagine that you wouldn't have 25 chapters of Black Hanakawa sitting and staring at the burned down school with Shinobu, but maybe. In my mind, I wonder if Hanakawa actually did like meet up with Aragi and they did something. I don't know. I guess who knows, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if we will ever learn what happened there. Maybe in the next episode. Because obviously a whole bunch of stuff happened, right? Because it was like 1 or 2 chapters we were skipping before, you know. But that was 25, so a whole bunch of stuff happened. And the only reason I bring up the idea of her meeting up with Araki is because like the school burned down. That's where Araki and Kambari were supposed to be. So Araki was probably kind of in the area somewhere. But at the same time, I feel like if she met up with Araki, then Araki would like know what's going on. He would realize Black Hanakawa was around, and I feel like he would like drop everything to help Hanakawa. So it depends on what his actual situation right now is, though. Who knows? Like the fact that that episode is around again, like kind of terrifies me. But I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And she figures out by the books being shifted to the side by 3 millimeters. So that's more than 3 millimeters. Look at that. Come on, that's a big difference. Hmm. And I don't know. I said this during the reaction too, but it's interesting how she calls it the metal cat, right? She calls it Black Hanakawa too, but even then, it's like the way that she views what Black Hanakawa is very much just the same. It's completely emblematic of like the way that Black Hanakawa is like in the story, right? Like the form that she takes of being like this almost separate version of Hanakawa, you know? Because that's how Hanakawa views it, right? Like she's turning into the Metal Cat. She's turning into Black Hanakawa instead of thinking of Black Hanakawa as being part of her, right? Not again, it's like obviously Black Hanakawa has negative aspects to her, like the whole energy drain stuff and being like malicious at times and all of that, you know? But that's also formed by like Hanakawa's way that she thinks about those feelings that Black Hanakawa represents, you know? It's the feelings that Black Hanakawa represents that are obviously part of Hanakawa, whether she likes it or not, and she doesn't like it. And I do wonder, it is interesting, like how um Black Hanakawa this time around, for the third time, isn't like taking over Hanakawa and being here until we, have Shinobu drain her or do something permanent to fix it, right? Um And I wonder like why that is exactly. Is it like representative in some way of Hanakawa's like mental state about how she views Black Hanakawa changing, you know? I don't know. It is interesting. I didn't really think about that before, but it is. I feel like that has to mean something, you know. The fact that Black Hanakawa isn't like this permanent state that Hanakawa has to be shooken out of, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. And yeah, and even the way that she talks about Black Hanakawa, it's just like it really is. It's like she's talking about like a. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like she's talking about a tool, but it really is. It's like she's talking about this, you know, thing that shows up to just, you know, it's just completely separate from her, but it's also just, I don't know, the fact that she's like, oh, Black Hanakawa is, you know, taking care of my problems for me and all of this, you know? Yeah, is she gonna handle this stress too? Because she's not gonna do it, you know, herself. This scene makes me sad. Like, it's like, think back to the first episode of Tsubasa Tiger when we mentioned the thing about how there's three different sets of kitchen utensils that completely insane, like, you know, like how do you get to the point where there's three different sets of kitchen utensils in your house because no one will even eat at the same table at the same time, you know, or like use the same tools to make their food, right? Like that's just crazy. But the Araki household, it's the opposite. And again, I'm wondering, like this, like she obviously reacts positively to this, like she likes this, right? But I feel like this has to fuel part of that jealousy, part of that envy that we've been talking about with the tiger, you know? Because it's not just jealousy. It's not just jealousy of her being jealous of other people and their ability to change. I think that's like a very big part of it, though. It's also jealousy of other people just having a better life than her, having having a home, having a house, having a family, right? And she doesn't. Well, they wake him up a little bit differently than they just did that to you, but maybe that's his fault. Want to believe he's getting assaulted in his sleep with a crowbar. Exactly. Hmm. And man, we get a very good talk with the Araragi mother of the household. It's man, I did not think we were ever going to see her on screen. That's for sure. I mean, like it kind of makes sense. Like I understand why we never see her from Araragi's point of view, right? Ever since, oops, I dropped the cap. Ever since My Always Snail, it's been clear that he has this like he has some serious hangups, not involving specifically his mother. I mean, kind of involving specifically her, right? Like he feels like a failure and all of that. Probably feels like he can't live up to her expectations. She does seem kind of like a, you know, not a strict parent maybe, but you know, she expects things from people. She knows how the world works. I guess she kind of has it all together, right? She's an adult, you know. We've talked about that before about how like adults in the story, that all the specialists we've seen and everyone seem like they kind of have it together in a way that the not adult characters don't, which like completely makes sense, you know. So it makes sense we don't see her from Aragi's perspective ever, because like, you know, he doesn't want to, you know, the imaginary audience, I guess, or whatever the viewer is in the story, whatever we, I don't know, you know, whatever you want to imagine us as being, right? Aragi doesn't want to show her to us, right? Because, you know, the same way he doesn't want to show us Karen and Skihi's boyfriends, you know. Like, I don't know, it makes sense. It's also, I mean, it's more so also just like his mind, right? He doesn't want to think about it, probably, you know. It's like he has this weird, he has hang-ups involving his family and fitting in with them and all of that, you know, so. Hmm. And yeah, I don't know, like she says, Itekima says she's leaving, which to my understanding is very, like, you know, it's something you say when you are, like, leaving your house, you know? Like, she's very careful when she comes back later to say, like, something very, like, proper and, like, she is a guest re-entering a house that she's a guest in, you know? Because, yeah, I don't know, just Aragi's mom really lays down the law here that this is not, she can't be here forever, right? This isn't her home, this isn't her house. She has to be able to make a stand and form her own place in the world, you know? Like, it's great that Karen and Skihi have been so accepting and have allowed her to be here, and that she's, you know, that she does feel at home here in a way. Um, but it's not her home and it's not her house. She can't do that, right? And that really fits in with Hanakawa's personality or problems, I think, because it's so much easier for her to do that, right? It's so much easier for her to accept a position in the world that's just given to her, um, by other people just like being nice to her, like saving her in like the way that she wants Araragi to before, than it is for her to like take a stand for herself and form her own place in the world or have her own place in a household. Again, I hate the idea of blaming Hanakawa at all for anything about her home life with her parents, because her parents are obviously terrible people. Um, but I feel like you just have to agree that on some level, her own behavior has done the opposite of helping her with her situation. Right? Like, the way that she acts like she's unable to do anything for herself at all, right? Not now, if it's something purely for herself that doesn't affect anyone else, I guess she can do it. But the problem is that's just not a thing that exists, right? She can't do anything that affects other people, so she can't do anything for herself by extension. So I guess I don't know. I am glad that we have this conversation, I guess, and it's a real like mother figure, I guess, that's telling her this, which I think is very important. Like I just want to read this again, like. Yeah, and she makes it clear that it's not that Hanakawa is being a burden on them, and it's not that Hanakawa is unwanted, right? Like I think it's good that she specifically brings that up, because that's where Hanakawa's mind would immediately go, right? But it's not her home, it's not her place, right? Like, she needs to fix her problems. She needs to, even if her relationship with her parents is unfixable and is, they're beyond help, which they probably are, considering how they've treated her and considering the family dynamic they have. There has to be something she can do, and the solution isn't, oh, I'm just gonna, join a different household. Not even through her own will, but just through them, welcoming her with open arms, right? That's just not a thing that happens. Just like how Araragi was never just going to magically fix her problems for her. Hmm. And of course, she just immediately just like minimizes her own problems and doesn't want like even though she like her first reaction to it is, oh, I'm so sorry I've worried you in this way. Like, of course she doesn't think about her own issue here at all. She just immediately, her mind goes to, oh, I'm worrying them, so that's bad. I need to apologize for it. It's actually very sad that she thinks that at all, right? That's just such a self-destructive way to think about your own problems ever. To immediately go to minimizing your own problems anytime anyone wants to reach out and say anything to you about them, like, because she's worried about worrying her. Like, it's just, man, it's such a bad way to think. And I think people in general think like this all the time about so many things. Like, I think especially just like with anytime you just have some kind of issue in a relationship with someone and you don't want to bring it up because you think it's just gonna like it's gonna make it a whole ordeal or a whole thing and you don't want to deal with it. I think in a way that's kind of this kind of problem, right? Is that you just don't want to address the issue and you'd rather just have it keep going forever because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to. Maybe it's not so that you don't want to deal with it, but you don't want to be the one to you know point out that someone is hurting your feelings or doing something, or that you have some kind of problem in any way, because then you're going to be worrying another person about it. It's like why people don't get help when they're like depressed or suicidal. Because I think being depressed and suicidal makes you have this kind of inherently brings you this massive issue with your own self-worth, and it's like you don't want to worry other people with that issue. Not that I'm saying Hanakawa is depressed or suicidal, I just think this is a kind of kind of the same between those things, right? And yeah, you can't have a falling out between your like that's just not a thing that should happen. But and it is interesting that she says family is something you don't need but should be happy to have. And I guess I agree with that. Like Hanakawa, if she can't have a family in her family that she has now, right? Family in quotes. Like I know it's hard to call them her parents, like Senshugahara said. Um, she doesn't need it, right? She doesn't need a family to like be a self-actualized person, and um, she just in some way has to address the problem, right? Like the way that she's been doing it isn't working. Like trying to hold on to this horrible broken mess of a home and a family. You know, it certainly for her it has not been working at all. So, hmm. And yeah, that's the thing, is she's not even running, right? She isn't running from her problem. She's just averting her eyes. You know, her running from her problem would be running away from her family situation, right? What she's doing is averting her eyes and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna be here and ignore the problem, right? I'm gonna get abused, sleep in the hallway with a Roomba as my only friend, and I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm not even gonna run away. I'm just gonna sit here and avert my eyes, you know? Like, ah, man. Hmm. Because I guess really to me, the solution to her family dynamic isn't to, like, patch things up with her parents. I mean, I guess maybe that would be possible. I don't know, me personally, I don't know if I would ever be open to patching things up with parents who physically abused me like that, right? I don't know if I would want to do that, even if it would be possible. Like, maybe. I don't, it depends on how much you value the idea of family, I guess, in that sense. Or the family that you already have, as if it's not possible to form a new group of people you can call your family, right? Um, but like, I guess to me, the idea here would be that she should head out from the situation she's in, as in like take a stand against her family in quotes. You know, I think that is a better solution to me than her trying to pick up the pieces and fix it that way. You know, but who knows? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I can imagine either way. I guess. And yeah, averting her eyes, that's what she's been doing with Araragi, and her being in love with Araragi too, right? It's not like she's doing anything about being in love with him. She's not running away from it, as in, like, trying to, I don't know, just accept that it's not going to happen and that she needs to, like, I don't know. I guess I don't know exactly what running away in that case would be. I guess just, like, some kind of acceptance of the situation that he's in love with Shinjogahara and he's not just going to start dating you or something instead. But she really has just been averting her eyes in the case of like the fact that she is so easily able to say to Shinjogahara that she's still in love with Araragi is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like that is a strange thing to say, to be able to say to his girlfriend right in front of her. You know, like she has to have this level of trust. Not even this level of trust, just in Hanakawa's mind, the way Hanakawa's mind works. Hanakawa knows that she is never going to do anything about being in love with Araragi, right? Or like the way she is now. She can never imagine actually doing anything about it, right? So she is able to say so easily to Shinjogahara, like, oh yeah, I'm still in love with Araragi. But of course she doesn't plan on doing anything about it, because that would be unthinkable to her. So I guess that is kind of like averting her eyes. You know, she just has this feeling for Araragi, but she's not going to do anything about it, ever. Right. And that's why, I guess, even though it is kind of weird for her to be able to say that to Shinjogahara, in Hanakawa's mind, she just thinks it's fine, right? Because it's like, oh, if Aragi's already dating someone else, then it's like, I have these feelings still, but I'm not going to do anything about them. And of course, I would never try and push myself on him, because that would be awful, right? And we run into episode. What is he doing here? I mean, literally, what's like, this has to have something to do with what Aragi's up to, right? It kind of terrifies me. Especially because we know that Araki and Shinobu are separated right now, right? I didn't even think about that. Like that is really scary. I'm hoping that since Guy Nizuko is the one hanging out with episode here, and Guy Nizuko is part of the whole like Oshino Kaiki Kaganui group, um, that episode isn't here to just murder Aragi. But if he is, I don't know what we would do. Like, because Aragi and Shinobu are separated. Is that why he's here? Is he here because of their separation, right? Because I was thinking about this. Right? The Aragi and Shinobu connection was formed as a solution to the end of Kizu, right? He had to stop Kiss Shot from killing a bunch of people all the time. He couldn't accept that. So the solution they came up with was, okay, you're going to drain her so much that she's too weak to go out and kill people, right? The only person she'll be able to feed off is you. I guess to my understanding, what I would think is, therefore, if that connection between them is ever severed in some way, which I guess it's hard to say what the connection even is, right? It's not the connection making Aragi and Shinobu vampire, or making Aragi a vampire, I assume. Because in my mind, if that connection was ever severed, that would undo what happened in Kizu, and Shinobu would get her powers back, right? She would be full power Kiss Shot again. And Aragi would be full power Minion Aragi again, right? But that's not seemingly not what has happened, right? Like Shinobu doesn't seem to be back at full power, right? Like obviously she's still in the Shinobu form. I guess maybe she could do that even if she was at full power, just if she wanted to look like Shinobu still. But like for example, Black Hanakawa jumped her over to the school still, right? If Shinobu's back at full power, I feel like she could like teleport there or something, you know? Like so depending on what they mean by saying their pairing is undone, I guess I just don't know, right? Because I would think that if the pairing being undone meant Aragi and Shinobu were both back at full Kizu power, then it would make sense for Episode to show up, right? But I just don't think that's what's going on. So, I guess I don't know. I really don't know. Hmm. Not that I guess I don't know what Episode would do, though. He already failed horribly the one time he fought Aragi. So, what's he gonna do against Aragi and Kiss Shot? And like, if that did happen, I just feel like I just don't know. I just literally there's just no way that can be the situation, right? That just doesn't make sense. So in that case, I just can't imagine what they mean exactly by their pairing being severed, you know? Hmm. And yeah, we get this really bizarre. I don't. This is just very strange. Just like Hanakawa, yeah, she's just so not scared of him, which is really weird. But of course, right? Of course, that's how she acts. And she's just very polite and very just yeah, it just shows you how abnormal her behavior is, you know? Because like I feel like as the audience, you're gonna have this very different reaction to seeing Episode again compared to how Hanakawa treats him, you know? And apparently Episode is 6 years old. Sure, if you say so. I don't know what that means, but okay, I guess he's 6. Sure, why not? God, and even this here, I just want to say, even this text flash here, her saying I couldn't help it, but I was obviously surprised. Like she feels the need to make an excuse for why she reacted to learning that he was 6 years old. Because even doing that, even having that sense of surprise in that moment and showing it in any way is like too much for her. You know what I mean? Like, so, and yeah, and he says he doesn't even know what the situation is, right? Um, he's like a mercenary for Guy Izuku, I guess. Um, I just don't know. I don't know. And she wants him to hunt the tiger, which is interesting, right? I don't want the tiger to die. I don't think that's a good idea. To me, it would be like the idea of banishing Black Hanakawa forever, right? Like that would be reinforcing Hanakawa's mindset and like keeping her like this forever. And the way she is now, she is obviously unhappy with, and she, you know, it's not good, you know. Even if her mind, if she thinks the solution would be like, oh, I just want to stop being unhappy with the way I am, that's not like a real solution, right? She needs to, I think she needs to accept the feelings that Black Hanakawa and the tiger represent, right? She needs to be able to deal with them. And we talked before about how, yes, the tiger could be representative of like truly negative emotions, like emotions that she shouldn't be accepting in the sense of like, oh, okay, I'll just feel these emotions and that's fine. But emotions that she needs to like deal with, right? Like jealousy is an emotion that I think really it's hard to think of a positive scenario in which it's like, oh, it's a good thing that I'm feeling jealousy right now. But it is like a human emotion to feel, and it's something that she needs to be able to like grapple with and understand, rather than just killing the tiger, you know, rather than just the emotion vanishing and she just won't, you know, she'll never feel it again, right? I don't think that's like a solution, right? And he said, yeah, he says like he can't even tell who she is anymore. Um, he got this dreadful feeling from her before. And I guess that just is like representative of how different she is now since Kizu in terms of like Black Hanakawa exists now. All the feelings that Black Hanakawa was have been like separated from her in like aberration form, right? And like the tiger too, right? Like the tiger has also been cut away from her completely in whatever feelings it represents, right? So, yeah, that makes sense to me, I guess. Hmm. And here we meet Guy and Izuko. She knows everything, which is very interesting. So first, let's talk about this because this is the thing I don't know what to say about. So we'll go through it real quick. We had the weird line in the last episode about Komburu's lineage and her ancestors or whatever. The Gaian, I assume now we must be talking about the Gaian family, right? Um, I don't know. I guess being a Gaian must really mean something, right? It must be really important. Um, I guess we know that Komburu's mother had some weird oddity aberration stuff going on, right? Because she is the one who gave Konburu the demon arm, the monkey arm, right? So Komburu's mother obviously was part of all this weird aberration stuff too, you know? And now we have Guy and Izuko, who is apparently like the top dog of this little group of specialists, right? Um, so I guess I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. I guess it makes more sense now, that line from last episode about Komburu's lineage in some way being important to why Aragi needed her. Um, because I guess that means Aragi also knows stuff about the Gains that we don't exactly. Like, I guess. I don't know. I could not tell you. Like, what specifically we haven't really gotten anything in the story so far about being from a specific bloodline like meaning anything, right? Like, I guess I just don't know like what that has anything to do with anything. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. So there were my thoughts on that, I guess. Hmm. So Guy Nezuko knows everything. What a coincidence. Yeah, I knew exactly who you were because I know everything. What a coincidence, right? Um, so Guy Nezuko knows everything. I don't really know what that means, right? Like, um, like everything? Like she knows everything, you know what I mean? Like, that'll probably be the thumbnail, right? That's good. I love the, why aren't my subtitles hiding? I thought it was V. How do I hide subtitles again? Am I doing this wrong? Whatever, I'll figure it out later. Um, I guess I don't really know what that means exactly. I love the background here. We have like the clouds converging on her. You know, it's like the representation of like knowledge being contained in her, I guess, right? We get that in like every shot. It's like the background is like these clouds just converging around her head, basically. Yeah, yeah, like that's a crazy shot. Um, she knows all the specialists that we know. She knows Oshino, she knows Kaiki, she knows Kaganui. She was obviously the last person in their shogi club, right? So that is interesting. I the fact that she knows everything and that she knows what Hanakawa is up to right now makes me feel like she knows what she's doing with everything that she says to Hanakawa, right? Like, of course she does. She knows everything, right? Like, she says all of this kind of weird, kind of condescending stuff to Hanakawa, but I think it's, again, a lot of stuff that Hanakawa, like, needs to hear, you know? Kind of similar to just, like, what Aragi's mom just did, right? Um, I'm gonna have to read everything she says again. Now, like, her knowing everything, is it... I mean, like, it seems, like, literal to me. Like, it's some kind of like actual thing where she knows everything. You know what I mean? Like we got the text flash where it says like as if she controls everything in the story, right? Like if she knows everything, how does that work? I mean, it has to be some kind of weird aberration oddity thing, right? Like because we haven't really had anything like that, right? I guess Kaganui, right? Kaganui was incredibly strong and um basically like slaughtered Araragi. Um I guess it depends how much of that was like just imagery in the anime and how much of that is like literally canon. She has superhuman strength, right? So I guess we've seen people who have these weird things like this knowing everything thing. But again, I assume it has to be some kind of weird oddity aberration thing, right? And yeah, like this line here, right? You have to take care of that yourself somehow. It's like literally that is true. That is what Hanakawa needs to do. So, and her being very specific that she knows everything. Like, what does that mean to Hanakawa, right? The idea of someone knowing everything, right? Would that be like, what would Hanakawa think about that? You know, because Hanakawa, her catchphrase is like, I don't know everything, I just know what I know. So here's someone who knows everything. Um, would that be like, how would Hanakawa, in the way that she views the world and thinks about herself and and her emotions, how would she think about someone who already knows everything about her and her problems? It's interesting. Like, she wouldn't need to worry about her whole, like, not letting someone know about her feelings because of being a burden on them. She wouldn't need to worry about that because Guy Nizuko already knows everything. She already knows all of that, right? So I'm just wondering, it's like Guy Nizuko is the ultimate, like, authority figure in this case on everything, right? Because she knows everything. So her specifically saying all of this stuff to Hanakawa and telling her, oh, you're going to face the tiger today or tomorrow. You're going to do it alone. Where, it's, I feel like it must give Hanakawa motivation to actually go out and do that, right? Because she just accepts it as like, that's just how it is, right? So the person who knows everything told me that's what's going to happen, so that's what's going to happen. I have to go do it, right? It kind of fits with like her thing about caring about the rules and wanting to follow the rules, right? Because that's just, that's what it is. That's what she's going to do, you know? Yeah, nobody can rescue her, nobody can help her. It's a problem that she herself has. Obviously, this also helps Hanakawa, like, her mind, like, open up to the possibility that I think that she was in some level, like, intentionally ignoring. The idea of the tiger being a part of her and being like Black Hanakawa, right? Because that's what kind of triggers her whole, like, conversation with Karen and Skihi about what the tiger could be, what it could represent, her own thoughts on it, all that. Hmm. And even this, her reassuring Hanakawa basically that it's not her problem and that it's not Aragi's problem, right? It's like her telling her, like, okay, Aragi's not going to save you. If you were hoping in some way that Aragi was going to show up, he's not going to. Um, and her specifically saying that it's not her problem too, right? I feel like that's a big thing for Hanakawa, right? She doesn't want to make her problems into other people's problems, right? So if it's not Aragi's problem, then she shouldn't be, she needs to fix it by herself, right? Hmm. It's not wisdom to realize one's ignorance. It's ignorance. And she brings up jealousy too, huh? She knows everything. Yeah, of course, of course. Hmm. Yeah, and she's not an exception. She isn't special. Exactly, right? She's not an exception to the feelings that she has, right? Hmm. And I guess I get the sense that obviously Hanakawa doesn't like Guy Nizuko very much. I mean, I don't either. So she's very ominous. I don't know, it's very interesting. Like we get this like rainbow with her. She wears very bright, colorful clothing. She has the star necklace. We get all this. But in contrast to the imagery we get of her, she's very creepy. Like I don't know. Man, man, oh man. Hmm. Doesn't know everything. And right, and she does need reassurance that of course she doesn't know everything. Right, that is very important for her to have. Hmm. We get this, I don't know, but this interesting idea of the whole thing about whether or not it's Hanakawa or the Guyan that actually named it, right? Like, I guess it's kind of impossible to know, right? It could just be like a paradox, right? Like, if Guyan Izuko knows the future and knows that she's going to name it the History Tiger, so she tells her that she's going to name it the History Tiger, and then that's why she names it the History Tiger, then. And neither of them named it, really. Neither of them named it, and both of them named it. So, oh, we go back to the park. We haven't been here in a while, have we? What, last time we were here, um, we were never here in Nekomonogatari Kuro, were we? Or in Nisei? Were we ever at the park in Nisei? I don't think we were. I think it's literally been like one of the last few episodes of Bake when we were here with Hanakawa last time, right? Man, been a while. Hmm. And yeah, Sindra brings up all the stuff about Kanbaru and Gaian. I don't know. They have to be related. I mean, obviously, Gaian Izuko is related to Kanbaru's mother, right? That's where the name Gaian comes from. I'm probably like her sister or something, right? I mean, I don't know. Probably, I imagine she's probably around that age, right? Hmm. And these are some interesting lines here, like associating the name with the past as in former, right? Like, hmm. That just makes you think about like what it could represent in terms of like Hanakawa and herself, right? It being like a former version of her or something. I mean, that doesn't really make sense exactly, but I don't know. I don't know. It is interesting. The idea of the past or history being related with the emotions that it represents, I guess. She looks so disappointed. And so Senjougahara's idea is that the tiger is going to burn down everywhere she sleeps one by one. I guess that kind of makes sense with like what I was saying too. In my mind, I thought it was just burning down places that Hanakawa thought of as a home. Um, that she got some sense of homeliness from, I guess, right? Um, and like I guess that also could have already been applied to Senjougahara's house and Aragi's house, right? So sure, probably, I guess. Of course, that even more that gives Hanakawa a lot more motivation. She got to get out there and fix this immediately. Hmm. And she's no match for Karen. She got to get in there and play. So we talk about what emotions you can relate to fire, right? And I agree with Skihi here about the idea of it just being really any passionate emotion, basically, right? Like it's really, I don't know. Like I guess the idea of jealousy and envy, I like that, of course. So that's kind of been the theme of this arc in a way, right? We brought that up specifically before with her talking about how she's jealous of Senjougahara, not because of Senjougahara dating Araragi, but because of Senjougahara being able to change as a person, you know? So I guess yeah, it jealousy and envy being like a primary thing that has formed it makes sense. But I think more so it's just like passionate emotions in general that Hanakawa's been unable to address, right? Like love too, right? Like that's obviously a big factor of her emotions that she's been unable to address, right? Is her love for Araki. So and yeah, anger. I imagine Hanakawa being angry about her situation too, right? I think all of it really fits. And yeah, the we talked about this already, but yeah, there are boyfriends that don't show up in Aragi's head, of course. Hmm. And she figures it out, right? He's envious of them. He's being jealous. Hmm. And again, it kind of brings me back to the idea of like, I wonder what exactly made the tiger show up now, right? Is it just the realization that the people around her have changed so much? Just some kind of, noticing how much Shinjogahara has changed, noticing how much Araki has changed, probably, right? He's obviously changed since like Kizu, right? Um, just like stuff like that, I guess. I could imagine it just hitting a breaking point and the tiger spawns in. Um, but I still just feel like the way that we first saw the tiger, if we're really saying it's like envy and jealousy, when we first saw the tiger, when Hanakawa first ran into it, she was so shocked and she was so like, it really felt like it was an emotion that she was suddenly just being like assaulted with, that she was unprepared to deal with, right? Like she sees the tiger and she has nothing to say. She just freezes in place. She can't deal with it at all. So to me, it's just like the idea of it like being a building up kind of stress, like Black Hanakawa, that just doesn't work for me as much as with the tiger. I feel like there has to be some kind of specific event that I'm not thinking of that has to have triggered Hanakawa to have this sudden wave of jealousy for people around her. But I just can't think. I mean, what's the last thing that happened in the timeline, right? Nisei Monogatari, Skihi Phoenix. Um, Aragi introduced Senjugahara to his family in between then and now, I guess. I don't know why. I mean, did Hanakawa even know that happened? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. There just has to be something that I'm not thinking of exactly, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's possible I'm just thinking of it wrong, and that it is just like a building up type thing, like the stress of Black Hanakawa. I just don't know. I just don't know. Because it just feels like that scene where we first saw the tiger, it feels like it was specifically, like, set up to, like, show us that shock that Hanakawa was feeling upon seeing the tiger and, like, feeling what it represents, you know? And if it was, like, a building up type feeling, then you would think it wouldn't be like that, you know? Like, obviously, yeah, she was scared because there's a big tiger in front of her. But, like, you know what I mean, right? Like, there was a very specific, like, there's a reason that scene exists, you know? Hmm. And yeah, and she wants, like, she's jealous of people who don't avert their eyes, basically, you know? And then this line right here, right? Oh, where is it? Yeah, and your behavior is very strange, Hanakawa. Like, come on. Yeah, I might not be able to see Aragi again. So, I can think of three ways we can interpret this line, right? Is one, whatever she thinks she has to do to handle the tiger is going to involve her own death, literally, right? Um, I mean, maybe. I guess she's gonna go fist fight the tiger, I guess. Um, two, I could imagine her thinking that, like, um, whatever she needs to do to handle her emotions is going to involve her not seeing Araki again, right? Like, if she thinks, okay, my problem here is I'm experiencing all this jealousy, then, and this is like the bad timeline in my mind, then she could think, like, oh, I need to never see Aragi again, right? I need to not have a family. I need to not see Aragi again so I don't experience love, so I don't experience jealousy, so that this doesn't happen, right? Like, she could be thinking, my feeling of jealousy is hurting other people, which is worst case scenario for Hanakawa. That's all she doesn't want to do is hurt other people with her own feelings. Um, so because that is happening, because the tiger exists, because of this feeling of jealousy that she has, then she could be thinking, okay, I need to never see Aragi again. I need to leave. I need to, like, I need to stop experiencing jealousy. So I have to get out of here, right? That's the other way she could view it, and that would obviously be bad. That would be like an awful solution, right? That would just be terrible if that was her mindset and her idea here, right? But I can imagine it, right? Because she really doesn't want to hurt other people with her feelings, and that's what's kind of happening here with the tiger, right? Um, and I guess the other one is like her, I might not be able to see Aragi again. I guess I can imagine it in terms of her thinking that, like, her emotions. She can imagine it in terms of her, like, basically turning into Black Hanakawa permanently, right? That her, like, reaching out to Black Hanakawa is representing her, like, she has to reach out to the her that isn't her, as she says, and it's going to change her to the point where she's not herself anymore, right? Like, that is how she thinks about her own emotions, right? That's why Black Hanakawa is this other version of herself, right? It's not her, because in her mind, that's how she views it, right? She doesn't think that it's part of her, or that it shouldn't be, at least, right? Um, so it's like she thinks that she is literally going to, like, basically become Black Hanakawa. Not, like, literally, like, she's not going to have the white hair and be the cat, but, like, she won't be herself anymore if she's, And, like, that also kind of makes sense to me, because, like, that's kind of the struggle that she's going through right now is she needs to go to Black Hanakawa for help because she essentially needs the help of the emotions that Black Hanakawa, like, represents in order to deal with the tiger, right? It all comes back to the tiger because the tiger is actually hurting other people instead of, like, just her, and that's what she has to fix, So if she thinks that she's, like, gonna be going to Black Hanakawa is kind of like representative of her accepting those emotions in some way and being like, okay, I have to accept what Black Hanakawa is and what she represents in order to deal with this tiger stuff. So it's like changing her into Black Hanakawa, right? I guess I can imagine all three of those. The one of her dying is, I feel like, the silliest one and doesn't really make sense. But I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. And she gets dressed in Aragi's clothes and sends him a picture, which is great. Leaves her in school uniform here. And she reaches out to Black Hanakawa. I love it so much. It's so good. Obviously, Hanakawa's wrong, right? Like that whole thing I just said about her, like thinking she's gonna turn into Black Hanakawa and not be herself anymore. That's like completely wrong, right? Like obviously, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't, like no, right? Like she doesn't, like she thinks that. I'm just saying the way she's thinking about it is not correct, right? Like that's not how it works. She needs to, she can accept the black parts of her and be herself still. Those, if anything, she would be more of herself by doing that. You know what I mean? Like her one last wish. It's so final. It's so, man. Hmm. So I guess she writes the letter and just goes to sleep, right? Because that's when Black Hanukkah was showing up. So, hmm. I hope we get to see what's in the letter. That would be nice. We get a very nice ending. Okay, well, that was a good episode. I'm very excited for the finale. I don't know how we're gonna resolve this exactly, like what we're gonna do. Obviously, it has to end with Hanakawa accepting her feelings in some way, right? Accepting herself, you know? I don't know what we're gonna do with her family situation at all. She needs to take a stand in some way. Like, that has to be it, right? Like, but I don't know how, like, what form that's gonna take. I don't know if it's gonna be her moving out somehow and just not being with her family anymore. I can't imagine that as a solution. I mean that might be my advice to her, is that she shouldn't try. You know, I don't know if it is salvageable. You know, but she hasn't been able to bring herself to even do that, right? So, hmm, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll just see. I feel bad for her, but we got the final episode of the Hanakawa Marathon next time. So sounds good to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Subscribe if you enjoy my content, please. We got to get those numbers up. And I will see you in the next one.